Welcome to the 2021-22 Heart of America Athletic Conference Men's Wrestling Media Days. I'm your host, Ross Peterson from 106.3 KXNO here in Des Moines and the Sports Fanatics. And next up, excited to be joined by 9-time NAIA National Champion, head coach Nick Mitchell from Grandview University. Coach, how you doing today?
Good, man. Thanks for having me on here, Ross.
Absolutely. This is quite incredible for me to think about, man. Year 14 that you are headed into as head coach there at Grandview University. How excited are you for your coaching staff and the wrestlers for this upcoming season?
I'm really excited. Probably the most excited I've been going into a season in a long time. Every year brings some new excitement, but clearly we didn't finish the season last year the way we wanted to. And so I was ready for the season to start the day after the national tournament last year. So I'm pumped, man. I can't wait.
Don't have to wait much longer. Got a pretty busy start going on here. You're going to be, it's got Simpson, CMU, a couple others that are right out of the gates here. What are you hoping to see from the team maybe 2 weeks from now?
So actually this very first tournament coming up here is this Saturday over at Simpson College. And then, like you said, that next week on Wednesday, we have a duel with Central Methodist. We have a double duel. It'll be the girls are wrestling first, and then we're following them up after that. So I don't know. I mean, nothing really has changed. I mean, the thing we're excited about is just getting a chance to compete against someone else. You know, these guys have been training between preseason and the start of official practice. These guys have been in the room together for basically going on 10 weeks now. And so we're excited just to get our hands on someone else and kind of find out what kind of team we have right now.
All right, let's talk about some of those returners that are coming back from that team that you're excited about. Who should fans be looking out for?
Yeah, so fortunately we didn't lose a lot from last year because of the COVID year. Justin Portillo is back. He's already a 4-time All-American. I think he's currently ranked 2nd in the country, so he'll be back this year. Last year we had a true freshman at 133. Our first true freshman All-American ever with Carson Taylor. So he'll be back at 133 this year. Shea Relfridge is a familiar face. It's been in our lineup off and on the last couple of years. He'll be in there 141. 49, we actually have, but we're pretty deep at 149. We have Tanner Abbas is going down to 149 this year. He was an All-American at 57 last year. Trevor Anderson was an All-American at 149 last year. Then we have a transfer from Arizona Christian, Jack Latimer. He's also a returning All-American. So 3 guys at that weight that are All-Americans. And then similar at 157, we actually have 4 guys that have been All-Americans at one point in their career. Stephen Lawrence, who's All-American for us at 157 in 2020. Giovanni Bonilla, who was 2nd in the country last year. Dalton Jensen, who was at 165 last year, who was an All-American 2 years ago at 157. Missing somebody. Oh, Israel Caceres, who transferred in from Graceland College. He actually was an All-American last year at 157. So 165 got a returning All-American with Marty Margolis, who was at 149 last year. 74, you have Casey Randall's coming back, who was an All-American last year. 184, you got Ben Lee coming back, who was an All-American last year. 197, you got Owen Brongart, who was an All-American 2 years ago, who was out last year with an injury. And then a heavyweight, you got Greg Hagan coming back, who was 2nd in the country last year. So a lot of depth. And that's just, those are the guys that have All-Americaned already or that have been starting members of our lineup. And we've got some other guys in there that I'm really excited about that I think could really be difference makers for us too.
And it doesn't leave a lot of room for new guys, but I know you've got some new guys here that are going to be fighting for spots also, including some really incredible stories that come along, which you seem to grab onto from time to time. Who are some of the new guys that the fans should be looking out for as you launch into the season?
Yeah, so we just recently picked up Aiden Reeves, who's a transfer from Iowa State at 125, who I think could really be, could have a breakout year this year. And then also a guy named Esco Walker. He was 2nd in the country for Cumberland down in Tennessee last year at 133. And he's kind of trying to make a decision right now between 125 and 133. Kid named Blake Gonzalez, who was a junior college national champ 2 years ago and was an All-American again last year. He's at 141. So yeah, I mean, just right out of the gate there's 3 guys that really could be difference makers for us too. So we're excited about those guys. And obviously, Ben Provisor, who a lot of people have talked about. He's a two-time Olympian in Greco-Roman, and he's wrestling 184.
Yeah, Ben was the one I wanted to kind of ask you about specifically. It seems like a really incredible story behind him and how he got to Grandview.
Yeah, so he's been competing Greco-Roman since he graduated from high school, and so he went to Northern Michigan first, which is a Greco-only school, and he was there for about a semester, and then decided just to move out to the Olympic Training Center and compete, and that's what he's done for the past 13 years. And so he just realized he was at the point in his career where he's not done competing, but he really wants to get on as a full-time coach somewhere. And he knew to do that, he needed to get his college education. And he had a relationship with Grant Turner, one of our assistants, because of the Nike connection. And we talked this summer. He came out and visited, and we just both felt like it was a great fit. And so far it really has been, man. It's been awesome.
Let's talk a little bit about the conference. In the most recent NAIA Top 20 poll, there were 3 teams ranked from the Heart. You have seen this conference kind of grow over the years. How do you feel about the competitiveness of the Heart right now?
Yeah, I think we're always one of the top conferences in the country, if not the best, one of the top 2 every year, as far as the number of All-Americans and national champions that come out of our conference. And really the other part is when you look at just the percentage of our qualifiers that actually All-American at the national tournament every year, it's always probably the highest coming out of just nationally. So yeah, you're going to have every year, Missouri Valley is going to be good. Baker is going to be good. Cody Garcia has done a really good job over there. Just building a great culture. And then, you look at what Zach Mullins has done at Graceland every year. He's got really solid guys that come in and step up that are going to be tough. And then, like you said, with the depth, Ian Ambrose is new to the conference as far as like an affiliate member. So they'll be competing with us this year. William Penn's always got, they're going to have a few guys that are really going to push. So yeah, man, it's we're in a good spot. We're called the Heart of America, and that's what wrestling is. Wrestling is the heart of America is wrestling. I mean, the Midwest, that's where wrestling thrives, man. And so it's always tough every year.
Wrestling's also a very humbling sport, Coach, and you had 9 national championships, and now this is kind of a new thing, not coming off of a national championship. What lessons are learned from losing? I don't know. It took me a little bit to figure some of that out. There was some maybe things within the team. The culture of our team is great. It was great last year. It wasn't anything like that. Sometimes you hear that, where you get caught up in that. And I think almost with our team, it was like the culture is so good. It was a reminder to some of these guys, like, hey, you can have a little edge to you. It's okay to go out there, and we pride ourselves on just being fighters when it's time to compete. So it's remembering to make that the most important thing. It's maybe something I didn't even realize until I look back how young we were last year and the year before. And so it's a reminder that part of my job is to continue to develop leaders on the team. I think that was maybe something that we missed out on a little bit the last couple of years, was just some really strong leadership. So those were things. And then for me too, I mean, just having that excitement coming into the season. Like I said, I'm more excited now than I ever have been going into the season, and it shouldn't have to be like that. I mean, I've always been excited about it, but shouldn't take a loss, So it's we're all learning things here for sure. Coach, let's go back a little bit with you. What was it when you were a kid that got you into wrestling? What was it that made it stick with you?
I had family that wrestled. My uncle wrestled. It wasn't like his main sport. He was a football guy that he kind of wrestled on the side. I was just really drawn to it. I was super aggressive. I was like always ultra competitive. And I was just like that guy that, people would come to our house and I just wanted to wrestle with them, and I mean, my family still tells stories about me, like taking my great grandma down in a headlock on the couch. And she wasn't like that type of grandma. She didn't think it was cool. It's just like, that was just how I was all the time, so it was just natural. And the other part that really became even more natural for me is even when I got into kids club wrestling and, throughout junior high and high school, I really liked helping other guys on the team. And so coaching really was a natural fit for me. I mean, I've always loved coaching other people and trying to help them get better. So it was pretty easy.
All right, a much broader question now, not just about wrestling, but about Grandview athletics. What is it at Grandview? What is it in that athletic department that seems to be breeding this success that the athletic department seems to be having all over?
It clearly starts with our administration, and so you think about our President Henning. This is actually going to be his last year at Grandview. He's created a culture where really, when you look at our athletic director, Troy Plummer, he's awesome. I mean, I can't imagine having a better situation, having a better athletic director, somebody that supports us, that lets us do our thing. But because of that, because of President Henning lets him do his thing, and Troy Plummer is great at what he does. And so if he didn't have the freedom to work the way he wanted to work, then we wouldn't have that same freedom. And then you start looking at his ability to hire good people. I mean, I'm surrounded by so many good coaches here at Grandview. And, you've been told since you were like 4 years old that you are who you surround yourself with, right? And that's what it is here. Success is contagious. Success breeds success. And that's what it is here. I mean, you look around, you hear what some of the other coaches are doing, you hear their mindset, and it really is contagious.
Coach, thanks so much for your time. I always enjoy sitting down and chatting with you. Can't wait to run into you again. Thanks for your time today, and best of luck this season.
Thanks, Ross. Appreciate it, man.
You bet, buddy. Talk to you soon.